So hi guys, welcome to the Business and Remote Work podcast brought to you by Wishup. I'm your host Crispino, and today we have with us one of our favorite clients here at Wishup, Khoa. Khoa is a filmmaker and established entrepreneur who has worked on many great projects. So I'm really excited for this episode where I get to pick his brains and learn about his work, motivations and success. So welcome to the show, Khoa. It's great to have you here with us.
Well, nice to meet you. Thanks everybody. Thanks for having us. Well, thanks for having me.
Awesome. So, Khoa, could you start off by telling us a bit about yourself and your journey?
So I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been in business since I was 19 years old. I started K-Vibe Studios and K-Vibe Productions in 2005. Now it's K-Vibe Studios is a new brand on it. And I own multiple businesses. I own real estate to running a tech company to running a franchise wedding company. We're a franchisor for weddings, and then we do a lot of film and TV work, and so currently I'm in the place of I've always been a filmmaker. I'm a musician and a father with 2 kids, husband. Wow. and I think my whole entire goal to why I do what I do is really to really just kind of, I want to be able to know that I use my life properly, impacting people properly, and leaving a story that can resonate with people. I always believe that you cannot take success to the grave with you, but what you leave behind that matters the most.
Leave a legacy behind.
Yeah, I mean, legacy is a cliche term, but it's more about what is your legacy? What is considered a legacy? Are you putting your name on the stone and saying that you did great, or what is that? And for me, it's storytelling, right? And that's why I'm a filmmaker. That's why I like making movies, and I like to tell stories that are emotionally impactful, and so and I want to do that full time, pretty much,
So, Khoa, you said a very interesting thing earlier that you started like the entrepreneurial journey at the age of 19. So, how did that come to you so early? Like back when I was 19, I was busy partying and going out with my friends and just chilling, So, how did that come to you so early at such a young and early age?
My parents are they're refugee immigrants from Vietnam, right? And so we come into this country with nothing. And for me, I guess I learned how to go through life struggles very early. But I was educated by being around, I guess, influential people in my upbringing that allowed me to think a little bit differently. And so I've always been, I think my father has always instilled fear into me around that if you don't, you really got to know what you want to do really early in life, and otherwise you're gonna not succeed, and blah blah blah. So I think around 12 years, when I was 12 years old, I kind of knew what I wanted to do. It was not filmmaking, it wasn't any of that. It was just knowing what to do. Like I knew I wanted to play sports, so I'm gonna play sports and I'm gonna work hard at that. I knew I wanted to make music, so I'm gonna work hard at music. It's just really picking the things that you want to do, but owning it and being accountable for it, and doing everything you can to be successful at it. And for me, it was, so anything that I thought about that I wanted to do, I just did it. So it wasn't like I picked one thing, I don't think life is like that. I think it's like a lot of people have a lot of different interests, a lot of different things. My kids are interested in games, cars, and watching their cartoons, why do you have to pick one thing? So I kind of look at it that way. But whatever you kind of own it, just you got to have patience and own it,
Absolutely agreed. So what inspired you into filmmaking? How did you get into filmmaking?
I got into filmmaking because I couldn't, because I never really made it in music. And so I got into filmmaking because I wanted to make music videos, but I was pretty bad at making music videos. So
you wanted to produce your own music?
Yeah, I was a record producer. I was producing records. I wrote songs. I worked with writers that worked with Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston writers, and really major artists in America. But but if you don't have a hit record, you never make it. So I stuck with music for 13 years, but it's such a battle because I was always on the creative side. I never understood the business side of things, and so I decided to keep pivoting, like thousands and thousands of micro pivots to try to find it, to a point where I landed onto filmmaking a little bit because I was horrible at making music videos. But filmmaking made sense to me. And then I made my first short film, and I got bit by the bug to stay in it. And then
That's amazing.
But I always realized that filmmaking is very difficult to do. It was the business was a little bit more clear for me for filmmaking, but we're still unclear. But I saw more opportunities around building a business. So it's when I because of my music network and my entertainment network, I was invited to go into the wedding business, and which is kind of weird, something I wasn't interested in. But I saw that there was an opportunity to build something that can allow me to be able to make a living while I'm sleeping. You know what I'm saying?
Passive income.
Passive income, a way to be able to just invest into the things that I wanted to do. And I thought filmmaking was not going to get me there if I was working a 9-to-5 job. But that if I want to do great things, you have to be full time at it, And so that's where I was at with that, I think that so it was all these micro pivots. I don't think it was like if I never did the music thing, I wouldn't have gotten into it. If I never did make my decisions to keep changing things to allow myself to be more successful, I would never get into the business of things. So never thought about it. It was like, I guess I'm 33 years old. I'm finally figuring out that I think I need to start learning how to build a business, but it took me till I was 19 years old to start to be an entrepreneur, but I knew nothing about business, right? You could be an entrepreneur, you could do this, right? You could just try to solve problems, but it's still you're on your own. But I've always had that, obviously, your 9-to-5 job, working as a tech repair guy, at first.
Awesome. So it seems like you had a very interesting journey, Khoa. So I had to ask you, is there any particular part of your journey that is the most fascinating to you, or any part or phase of your journey that you remember very vividly?
I think the most fascinating part of the journey is still going on, which is doing everything you can to find the passion that you want to work in, to play in, and that's filmmaking. It wasn't until I came back from a movie this year in Vermont. It was a very short. It was a low budget shoot. It was a pretty intense, strong cast, strong team, low budget, and it's rare to find that type of project. I took on that project, and came out really happy. But I came back here in my 8,000 square studio that I own, with my staff, and I told my team, I go, do you want me to be your CEO still, or do you want me to build a film company? I don't think I could do both. I don't think I could do what I'm doing before I went to making a movie to going back to what I was doing today. And that was the decision. But they all said, Khoa, we all know that you love making movies, and we also know that we're here to make movies. We're not here to build a wedding company. We're not here to build a corporate commercial company. We're here to build films, but I know we need to do that in order to get to that vision. I mean, I wish someone had put money into me, capital, but I never asked for money. I never asked money I don't even ask money for my parents, right? So everything has always been through my pockets, but I think in the film business is so difficult. So I said, look, I need the time. So what do you want to do? They said, okay, we're going to take care of the company. You're going to have to transition, and let's go full time on films. And that's where I'm at right now. So it's started the year 2024. I run two cash flow type of businesses, and I run a tech company called Sutudu over here. and it's a distribution company, licensing distribution for music and for film, emerging. It's still not there yet, but the technology is pretty much there, and now it's about, you know, building out that part of the business in order to be able to support the content stuff that I want to create.
Amazing.
Not
Seems
rely
like
on
you're
YouTube, not rely on distributors, and even though you have to rely, you have to work with them, but we want to get to the place of sustainability, right? Sustainable passions that we want to do.
Amazing. Speaking of that, Khoa, so there are so many new technologies and different trends coming every other day. So how do you stay on top of the current trends and ever evolving technologies?
Aside from not sleeping that much,
How many hours do you sleep?
Yeah, I sleep maybe 4 to 5 hours.
Really?
Average about 4 hours a day, you know.
Okay.
That's because I got kids, you know, so that's a different thing. I think in order to stay on top of it is that I don't, you know, it's kind of like when you're in the business, it's hard. I don't go out networking. I don't do any of that. Every minute that I spend is always relates to something that's gonna hopefully move us forward, right? Like this podcast over here. I'm talking to you. It's not really a campaign for you, but it's also for people to get to know me, right?
Absolutely,
a little bit. And to me, that's what filmmaking is about. It's about relationships, it's about trust, it's about, you know, experiences. And so what I love about films is that you know, you live your life every single day. That is your film. Now how do you capture it? How do you build a business around it? And so you kind of like, because the model of it doesn't really work for the small people. And so there is no trend for that. The only trend is you trying to solve that problem, and that nobody has really solved, you know. And I'm here trying to look to solve that problem, you know. And I think that's how you stay on top of it. And then, you know, and you just hear things, you know, like people come and say, hey, did you hear about the new ChatGPT? Did you hear the new Midjourney? Did you hear about this new AI software or where it is? Oh yeah, how does it help us? How does it help us? Why does it help us? Why do we want to do it? Is it worth the investment? Is it worth the value? Does it move the company forward? Does it help people be more motivated to not just work harder, but to care about it, to care about the subjects, right? You know, are we doing things that, look, the company is a company without the people, there is no company, right? The company got to be motivated, they got to stay healthy, and they got to be able to want to do it. They got too many choices out there to stick to this idea, right? And so, you know, and if you're hiring smart people, they have a lot of options.
True.
Right? If you're hiring smart people, they have a lot of options. And so my job is to make sure our options are valuable. And the option of what we have is, what is our dream? Not many people could talk about their dreams, and they'd be able to try to figure out how to execute it. And I put my whole entire time and investment and everything that I do into wanting to see this dream come true. And hopefully those people that are with me have their own dreams that could piggyback off of my dream, you know?
Yeah, true. So Khoa, tell me one thing. What's your take on blockchain and the Web3 platforms, and how has it impacted your thinking as an early adopter of the technology?
Yeah, I like the idea of a public ledger that allows people to create transparency. And the only reason why I got into blockchain was because I thought that this was the answer to the transparency issues that happens in the entertainment industry, from music to films. You know, if I was to sell a movie out in Cambodia, you have to take my word for it. There's no way for you to prove that, unless I gave you some sort of receipt or whatever it is, right? But what if that let's say I have 20 investors or 10 investors, whatever it is, and partners and actors that have equity into the project. How do you manage that? And how do they trust you? And so I felt like blockchain was a way to create a trustless type of system that allows people to say that they don't have to worry about trusting you. They just know that everything is sold through blockchain, that they can see it right for themselves right away. And that's the reason why I pursued Creative Sutudu, which stands for freedom in Vietnamese. And then we built our own technology to do financial sales splits within this thing, you know? But what's hard about it is that's why I think about blockchain. But what I think about how hard it is that people don't understand it. Like you know, because the film industry it's a very new industry. Film industry is a very new industry. It started in the late 1800s. It's only about less than 200 years old, right? Obviously. So, you know, so it's super new in my opinion. But the people that's in the business has been in the business for a long time, and they're not gonna change the system because I told them to. And so I feel like we have a lot to prove ourselves to ensure that blockchain can work very well for the entertainment industry. And then until we prove that wrong, until we prove people wrong with that, then nobody will ever adopt it. And so right now there's a lot of problems around, I don't know, cryptocurrencies and wallets and for the normal people. Like I would say, like probably my whole entire town over here, they heard about it, they don't know what a wallet is still.
What a wallet is, yeah, true.
Right, and so we got a lot. And so if we have that issue, I wouldn't be able to get what I need to get done. So I constantly keep pivoting the technology. And now let me start simple. Maybe they do trust. Maybe let me just build on myself on trust only. Just trust me. You know, I am the blockchain. Trust me, at least my little circle. And then let's start integrating slowly into blockchain. So then the company becomes more trustful. You could trust me. First of all, you don't do business with people you don't trust. That's number one. Yeah. So if you could trust me, then you could do business with me, right? That's number one. Number two, that you can't trust my company. Let us show you that you could trust our company, and here's how. Let's build a blockchain around it. You know, and so now I'm taking a step back, repivoting a little bit things, changing up some of the models, make it easier, simple, so we could use a platform, and then hopefully onboard people that could trust us, filmmakers, creators, writers, people that would trust their content with us, so we could help them get them to a successful place if the content is any good, if they're good people, right? There's so many elements to it, but you know, but that's the purpose of what we're trying to do, and we hope that hopefully it's impactful, and then hopefully that you know it's that it's transcending, you know. If it doesn't, maybe it's another company that starts it off and that takes the idea and moves it forward somewhere else, and I don't mind doing that either, as long someone's moving towards it. But there's so many. So blockchain has been, AI kind of took the buzzword out of blockchain, right, very quickly. And so, but I feel like the opportunity is there. And I feel like if they make it easier, then we'll be able to, the more people can play in it.
True. So, Khoa, I wanted to ask you, you've got so many projects, you're working on so many different things at the same time. You sleep for 4 hours a night rather. So how do you ever feel burnout? And if yes, then how do you maintain a work-life balance?
Yeah, I mean, I go through a burnout period for sure. I think I went through it right in the beginning of the year, and after the making the film. And I think that's the reason why when I came back making the film, I was burned out from making the film, but it was a happy burnout. But I was burned out from the everyday work that I was doing as an entrepreneur, which is the reason why that going into the film world and going to the passion world of it gave me a new energy. And so how you gotta love what you do, you know. A job, if you're looking at the time when you need to leave, that means that's a job to you. If you're worried that you have no time in the day to get the job done, then that's a passion for you. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. A lot of people look at the clock and they can't wait to clock out by 6 o'clock or something like that. But for me, I'm like, oh my God, I need more hours in the day to get what I need to get done. I wish I could stay here till 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. But I got kids to feed. I got kids to hang out with, watch them grow. Yeah. I don't have time for that. You know, I don't want to get divorced either, you know? So it's so
slippery slope.
So I got very little amount of time to do what I need to do. And I wouldn't call that a distraction because family is the most important thing to me. But I would say that it's not what I was when I was a kid, when I could work till 4 o'clock in the morning nonstop, because I loved it. It's not like You know, it's not like I worked for a retail store that I hated, and I'm counting the minutes to get out of there. You know, I got 1 more minute, I could go, right? So it's not that. So that's how you manage your time. You manage your time based on what makes you happy. You know, going to the bar doesn't make me happy. Going out to a party doesn't make it. But if it makes you happy, then you do what you do. Don't do something that you're not going to be happy with. And if you think that you're doing a job that you're passionate about, but then you're miserable, or you're feeling like, oh my God, you're counting the time because you can't wait to get a drink, then go get a drink. Who cares? Who cares? Go hang out with your friends. Because if you're not happy with your own life, then you're not gonna succeed anyways. Internally, you know. So I mean, you got to look at life. So for me, like, I don't like traveling. I'd rather stay in my computer working on a film than go to a beach. That's who I am, you know. But some people say I can't work on writing without going to the beach. Okay, then go to the beach.
Go to the beach, yeah.
You know, it might not make you money going to the beach. Then figure out how to make money while you're at the beach.
Absolutely, makes sense. So basically, just do what you love, right?
You gotta. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that either, because 90% of the things I do, I hate doing. Like, I don't want to be on my spreadsheet emails. I mean, it's the reason why I hire Wishup, right? It's so I don't have to do the things that I don't want to do. You know, if I could have Wishup run my whole entire company, I would. You know what I'm saying? But
we could do a lot of tasks.
You know, and so I would say it's, you know, if they could do the sales, they could close the deals, they could do that, then great. Then I don't need anything. I could walk away from my company and you know, have a passive way of doing it. But you know, so I feel like you got to take out the garbage, even though you don't have to take out the garbage in order to achieve what you're trying to achieve. And so and you know, and it'd be worse, you know, like I come from an immigrant family. Nobody loved trying to grow up in America from nothing. There's nothing about it that you love doing. You have to do whatever it takes to survive. So I think doing what you love to do is almost elite status when you get to that place, you know. But to the normal world, and I know maybe 99% of the world, we don't get to do what we love to do at the end of the day. So what are we? So the question is, what are we doing about that? How do we solve that? Capitalism is a new thing still. It's not. It's not an old thing, right? You know. But we're also not run by kings and queens either. So how do we get to a place of a life where we are happy? And so yeah, it's deep for me because I'm a filmmaker. But that's how I can think about things. And you know. And if I had a lot of money, more money, like a Bezos type of money, Jeff Bezos type of money, Amazon type of money, yeah, I mean, my life would still probably be the same, except that I would be able to solve more problems with a lot more money, right? And so, so that's how I kind of look at things. But time's a ticking time bomb, right? I'm 43 years old, you know, and I'm not gonna do the same thing when I'm 55 years old. You know, your knees are tired, your things are tired. You think you have more energy, but you're older, and then you're 65, and I'm gonna be doing the same. No, you got. When you think about it, life is super short, right? You think about it, I'll be 20 more years till I'm 63 years old, and I feel like I got a lot of work to do to get where I need to get to. Time's short, so you got to do what you love. You got to try to get to the place where you want to get to. And at what cost? Yeah,
true. So Khoa, you spoke a bit about Wishup over there. So I'd like to ask you, how has your journey been with Wishup so far, and what's your take on remote work?
Look, I wish I knew Wishup long time ago when I started my business, you know. But I think with the innovation of technology, it allows for Wishup to be working with us. I think the whole Zoom and video calls, and I think that fast speed internet, I think it just allowed for a new way of working. And so Wishup, I think, was a perfect timing for me. You know, when you have someone like my guy's Nick Nickerson, when he's taking over my inbox, and I only have to look at my inbox maybe once every 2 days. And he just tells me what I need to look at. that's a blessing that's a blessing for me, because
True.
you know, I don't know anyone that's busy, that is super busy like me, where you could stay in your inbox for a week and it doesn't end, you know, where you get 100 emails a day and you have to answer, and then you have to answer and reply. You just stay there forever, not ever getting anything done. So, and then, you know, from a bookkeeping side of things, I mean, that's a blessing in disguise too. There was a rotating door for me with internal people, and then you have to retrain. I think with Wishup is that there's a back end team, right? You guys have a training system. You guys are training that team to get better. That's something that we should be investing in, to train our people to get better, right? Big companies could do that. Small businesses can't. And so you guys are taking what makes it feel like a bigger business for us, because you have a back end support team that I don't have the answers for. You guys could still figure out the answers by your higher ups, by your bigger support. So to me, I rave about you guys, and I think that's one of the biggest backbones to the company, versus can I just hire someone from TopToe or from you know to go to look for an outsourced person? Yes, you could, and they might be maybe even more affordable, but you know what? They don't have the backbone. They don't have the support, and the support is what you buy into, and that's what I bought into. And I think that, to me, it's, you know, I think of you guys before I think about my internals around how we grow our company.
That's amazing, Khoa. Love it. So, Khoa, before I let you go, one last question. So is there any project that you want to work on with a particular client that you haven't had a chance to do yet? And if so, what project would you create?
So I wouldn't call it a project. I would call it an endeavor. So I'm having a 5 to 10 film project slate. And what I've never gotten into has been raising money. And with these films, I need to raise money. And so I have a business model that I believe is going to work. And I have a way to be transparent with the investors. And I know films is risky, but I think that based on my credibility, and I should be myself and the way I work, that should be a lot more reduced by working with me. And so I think I always say that's the project I'm looking to do, is to figure out how to raise money for the projects that we want to do and ensure that we have more at-bats to create more success. I think one of the biggest downfall around, I would say, projects or films is that most filmmakers that try to raise a lot of money, let's say they raise $3-5 million, they get one at-bat. The ninth inning, 2 outs at the bottom, 2 outs, and they got one at-bat and they strike out. And then they can't do it again for another 3 to 5 years. And that's not sustainable. What we're trying to do is to do low budget projects where you could get to have 4 to 5 at bats a year, and then hopefully one of them could take off and cover expenses, or if not all the expenses that that maybe the other ones did not make any monetary gains out of it. But I could tell you all my films have made money for the producers, a lot of and I feel like now it's our turn to do that. Instead of me helping them make money without me, now it's time for us to make money ourselves in the way we want to do it. So I feel like, right now we have a business model where we're doing projects that are under $1 million, and maybe even under $500,000 type of projects where we think that it could have these, not the $100 million gains, but gains enough to get you traction, to get you to a place of doing bigger projects, and at least, and then giving us more chances to be successful rather than only one shot to be successful.
Makes sense. Well, Khoa, I wish you the very best for this project and for your future endeavors.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the podcast, for sure. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Khoa. It was lovely seeing you, and hopefully we see you again soon.
Thank you. You too.
All right.